If you have ever tried a diet, you know they don't work. Maybe they do for a week or a month, even a year, but eventually you just can't keep it up anymore. So in today's episode, we're going to dive into why diets don't work, what brain wiring for weight loss is, and how to use brain wiring to lose weight without dieting, without restricting, without depriving, and without willpower. Hi, I'm Hayley. I've been a nutritionist for over 10 years, and I saw firsthand how the diet industry works, but mostly doesn't work to help you lose weight. Then I found myself 20 pounds overweight and realized the weight loss struggle has nothing to do with what you eat, but why you eat. So I went on a mission to explore the brain and its role in weight loss, and now I help my clients lose 30 pounds in 90 days by wiring their brain to weigh less. On this show, you are going to learn how to wire your brain to lose weight so that you never have to diet, restrict, deprive, or willpower again. So diets don't work. I think if you've ever tried one, you know that maybe it worked for a time, but it wasn't a permanent change for you. Diets come from this idea that if we eat this list of foods, we will lose weight. We'll have this perfect body composition, blah, blah, blah. But diets are really created in a lab. They're created by looking at the human body as if it doesn't have a brain. And the reason that diets don't work is because you have a brain. You aren't in a lab, in a vacuum, having, this perfect diet, given to you without any control. Your brain is in control of what's going into your mouth. It doesn't matter what the list of foods the diet is telling you to eat says. If your brain isn't on board, you're not going to be able to follow it. Studies show that 80% of people who shed a significant amount of weight don't keep it off for even 1 year. So diets really have this very short life cycle, and it's mostly dependent on how much willpower you have going into it. And willpower is a finite resource. It does not last. So we might be able to willpower for a week, for a month, but usually about a year is like that tipping point. And I think that study proves it. And 90% of people who lose weight regain all of it back plus 11 pounds. I love that it's 11 pounds and not like 10 or 12. If you've ever seen Spinal Tap, maybe that's a little bit too off. That movie is a little weird, but up to 11. Okay, studies show that 1% of people who lose weight and keep it off do so because they had a significant mindset shift. So it had nothing to do with the diet or the prescribed exercise routine. It was everything to do with their brain and the shift that happened in their brain. I like to kind of think about this like someone who's been a lifelong smoker. So they were never able to quit. Maybe they tried a couple of times, but it just never stuck. And then they get a really scary diagnosis. So they get diagnosed with like lung cancer or something. I knew somebody like this. And then they're able to quit instantly. What's really happening there is they're rewiring their brain in that instant. It's just unconscious. They never sat down and were able to consciously rewire their brain, but that diagnosis unconsciously rewires their brain. And so what I do with my clients, what I teach my clients is how to consciously rewire their brain. We don't want to have to wait for a scary diagnosis to kind of force us into that position. We're going to sit down and we're going to use a proven process to do this on purpose. When I graduated with my degree in nutrition and exercise physiology, I started working with weight loss clients, and it became pretty obvious pretty quickly that diets didn't work. So I give my client the list. They can't follow the list. And by list, I mean diets, because diets are literally just a list of foods. Here's what you can eat. Here's what you can't eat. Maybe we include some exercise recommendations, which mine used to be 60 to 90 minutes, 6 days a week. That's the recommended exercise amount if you want to lose weight. I don't know who has that kind of time, but most of my clients didn't. That one never went over well. So I give you the list. I give you the list of foods that you can and can't eat. And then inevitably, your brain stops being able to follow it. You run out of willpower. You can't follow the list anymore. And so my clients might have some success in the beginning, but then they come back and they're like, I can't, follow this. Like I'm eating these other things. And I have no other tools to offer my client who can't follow this list. It was frustrating. It was frustrating for them. It was frustrating for me to realize that I had just gotten this education. I learned so much. You learn so much scientific information about the body, and it's really fun and really cool. But it's science. It's in a lab. This list of foods is great for the body. This nourishes the body like nothing else and helps you weigh what you want. But it's not looking at the body with a brain that is not on board to follow that list of foods. And then you get out there in the real world and you start working with real people who have lives, who don't have 90 minutes, 6 days a week to be in the gym. I mean, it's like a joke. And they come back and say, thanks for the list of foods, but my brain's not on board for this. I can't follow it. And I have nothing else to offer you. And what the diet industry really does, I guess in a way, nutritionists also do this. You're kind of also forced to do this, but it really blames the client. It blames you, the person who can't follow the list. It's never the diet's fault that you can't lose weight with the diet. It's your fault. There's something wrong with you. You're the problem. And what this creates, what the diet and weight loss industry has created, is a lot of people who feel very alone in their inability to lose weight with a diet. My brain is the only one that this doesn't work for. I'm broken. That's how a lot of people come to me feeling. Like, I've tried all of these things. They didn't work. I feel a lot of shame around them not working. I don't want to tell people about it. I don't want to talk about it. I feel like a failure. And I'm the only one. My brain's the only one that's coming up with all of these things. And the thing is, nobody's brain is the only one. Everyone's brain is doing the exact same thing. We just don't know it. It's not talked about. It's not out there. It's not until you get in a room with a bunch of people who are losing weight and you have somebody there who's really focusing on the brain that you realize, oh, my brain's just doing what everybody else's brain is doing. This isn't me. I'm not broken. I'm just like everybody else. My brain's just like everybody else. But so what happened, I was working as a nutritionist. My clients were, having very little successes when it came to the diets that I was prescribing. And then I found myself overweight. And so I was like, all right, here we go. Try all my own advice. Try working out for 90 minutes, 6 days a week. try all these lists of foods. And what would happen is, well, it didn't work, but I would, I'm like pushing so hard and the mornings are so easy. I'm like doing so great. And then I get home at night and like, I'm bored. I got nothing to do. My brain's like, let's go eat handfuls of cereal out of that box. That'll fix it. That'll do it. And I'm there consciously knowing as a nutritionist, this is not a great choice, but I cannot resist it. There's like nothing I can do to stop it. And then I wake up the next morning feeling really guilty and shameful for what I've done. And then I start all over. All right, today's the day. We're going to push really hard today. Only, I don't know. I used to do these like collagen shakes. Only a collagen shake until dinner time. And then, only a piece of salmon or whatever. And it never worked. Like the harder I pushed, the harder my brain pushed back to not do what I was telling it to do. And that's what most people's experience is. We want it so bad, but we're coming at it from the wrong angle. We're coming at it from a list of foods instead of taking a look at our brain and being like, what's going on in there? How can I work on that? So I tried to lose this weight for a while, and I think I probably just gained weight through that. I think I got pretty frustrated. I don't think I was weighing in the whole time. And I think for a lot of it, I was more than 20 pounds overweight, probably closer to like 30 or 50 pounds overweight. But after a while of trying this, I was reading this book. It's called The Power of Habit. It has nothing to do with weight loss, but it was kind of a light bulb for me. Like, everything that we do is coming from our brains. Food and diet is no different. And we need to approach this. I need to approach this from my brain as opposed to just saying, here's the list of foods I'm going to eat today. That wasn't working. It never worked. So I really took this other approach. I stepped outside of the list of foods and really focused on the brain. That's where the issue is. And it's also where diets have absolutely no focus. They don't look at the brain at all. So I've lost the weight. I focused on the brain. I lost the weight. I keep it off without restricting, without depriving, without willpower. And I live my life. I eat cookies and ice cream and I don't eat salads anymore. I don't really enjoy salads that much. But like, it's so interesting. Everything that goes into my body, for the most part, is so not what I think a typical nutritionist would prescribe. And I don't mean it like I'm only eating cookies and ice cream. But I'm looking at it from a completely different perspective. Everything changes when you focus on the brain. All of a sudden, it doesn't matter if you're only eating salads. Like, that isn't where we need to be focusing. We need to get our brain on board for the weight loss. That's where it really is. So once I changed that focus, I lost the weight. I don't have to restrict or deprive. I don't have to follow a air quotes diet. I don't have to use willpower to weigh what I want to weigh. And this is what I do with my clients. So just to provide you with some more proof, I have so many successful clients who come into this having been like completely brainwashed by the diet industry and really understand that the problem isn't a diet, not only because it's failed for them so many times in the past, but really just realizing like there's something else going on here. I don't need another list of foods. I want to do something else. So Connie is one of them. She has lost over 60 pounds in 3.5 months. And she was really unique because she was raised in a family that owned diet clinics. So she started dieting when she was 10. 40 years of dieting. And she will tell you, like, she's tried pretty much everything out there and lost and gained hundreds of pounds, like over and over again. She loses it, she gains it all back, and then some when she runs out of willpower for that diet. So she started with me the day before Thanksgiving, which she was like, I'm going to overeat on Thanksgiving. I have a funeral right after. I know I'm going to overeat. Like, I'm going to use food to not have to go through that experience. She hadn't stepped on the scale in 5 years. And we had one coaching session, her first day, the day before Thanksgiving. She was so excited to step on the scale right after that call. She did not overeat on Thanksgiving or at the funeral. She pretty much obviously got through the holidays without overdoing it. She lost 60 pounds through the holiday months. I mean, it's just crazy. So she was able to get through all of these challenges and these situations without being on a diet, without restricting. I never told her what to eat. I never said, you can't have that. And you better not think that you're going to have mashed potatoes on Thanksgiving. Like, none of that. That is not the approach. It's completely opposite. You decide what you're going to eat. You decide what feels good in your body for you. And then we just look at your brain. And we just focus on your brain. And she has like really embraced this and just done such an incredible job of implementing these tools in her life and just keeps losing weight. Just like keeps changing and moving forward and discovering that, she doesn't love some of these crutch foods as much as she thought she did, which is one of the most eye-opening things about this is when you're telling yourself you can only have a salad, fried chicken sounds amazing because it's the opposite of a salad. And then once you calm all of that down, you might realize like you don't even like salads. And maybe you don't like fried chicken either because it just doesn't make you feel good. You feel terrible. You love this other thing that makes you feel good. It also feels good. Like, it feels good in multiple different ways. How many more times can I say feel good? Okay, so Kathy, she's down 20 pounds in 2 months. Again, she started during the holidays. Also, the thing about Kathy is she travels more than anyone I've ever met. She's literally out of town every single weekend, which is incredible because it just speaks to the fact that when you focus on your brain, you can travel. We think of traveling as like the time when you go and you eat all the things and you indulge. And she's learned that if she has her brain on board, she doesn't have to go to the all-inclusive resort and restrict and deprive herself. She can go with this plan in place with her brain on board, lose weight, enjoy the foods, have some drinks, and come home and feel amazing. That's what it's all about. So she came into this like exhausted and confused. I find that we're so confused when it comes to dieting. I was confused as a nutritionist when I was trying to lose weight. I was confused. I was like, I don't know what to do. And that's how we all feel. It's so confusing. But she came in exhausted from dieting, really confused. And currently she's on track to hit her goal of 50 pounds by summer. She absolutely loves the process, which I find is kind of like all around. Like when we really start diving into our brain and discovering all these things about ourselves, it's really fun and we really enjoy it. And diets don't bring any of that into the picture. They don't bring any self-discovery because it's not your list of foods. It's somebody else telling you what to do, which never really feels that fun. Lucy came in, she was again confused. She was like, had this very long, successful career and was really into her career. She never had any real eating issues until she retired. And then she was like, oh, this is our thing to do now, eat. And that's all she could like find herself doing, just eating and gaining weight. And she was like, I don't know what to do about this. Like, how do I get myself away from this? And what we've really uncovered is that she's using food to entertain herself, to escape from the emotional kind of backlash of her career. And how do we get her brain into another place where she doesn't need to use food to entertain herself, to feel good on a daily basis, and to avoid emotions that are coming up from her career? So that's been a really fun like discovery. She's losing the weight. She's kind of diving into what's going on for her, that her brain is using food in order to get out of these emotions. It's, again, just this process of like self-discovery and diving in and figuring out what's going on in your brain. Why are you eating all the time? But my clients are awesome. They love the process. I love the process. It's so much more fun to help somebody lose weight from this angle than it is to go in and tell them to follow this list of foods. That is not fun. It really sucks. Really sucks as a nutritionist, and it sucks for the clients. If you love what you hear on this show, and if you're done with dieting and you want to try a completely different approach to weight loss, I highly encourage you to sign up for a call with me. This is one-on-one time where you get to learn about yourself and discover if my program is what you need to get to the next stage of your weight loss. Go to bit.ly/call with Hayley. That's bit.ly/call with Hayley, Hayley. I'll see you there. Yeah, so moral of the story, diets don't work because they don't focus where they actually need to focus, which is on your brain wiring. They simply provide you with a to-do list. Nobody needs another to-do list. In order to really change your weight, you have to focus where it matters, and that's your brain. Thanks for listening.